welcome to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's only local morning show, giving you exclusive access into people, businesses, and events in our community. We're bringing you this show live daily, weekdays at 9:30 a.m. with your host, me, Maddie Muschen. Before we dive into today's show, every week we highlight someone, an educator, student, business, or organization from our Greater West Bloomfield community going above and beyond. If you would like to submit an entry for someone, you can scan the QR code on the screen and fill out the Google form with the person's name, their contact information, and reasons why you think they should be recognized here on the Splash Live for our Person of the Week. Now let's go check out what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community. The first event we want to look at is the West Bloomfield Township Public Library events. They are hosting a ton of fun and educational events that are virtual for the residents of West Bloomfield and all age groups. On Thursday, they'll be having their Reader Choice book discussion, where you are able to talk about what you are currently reading and talk about recommendations with your neighbors and friends. If you've ever been to a regular book club, this is a little bit different because you can talk about whatever book you are currently reading and give recommendations to others. This will allow other readers to talk with others about their books in a virtual discussion facilitated by librarians Amanda and Jolie. For any of these events, you can register on their website at wblib.org. Our next event we want to look at is next Saturday, April 2nd. The Keego Harbor Canal cleanup is happening. The Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation needs volunteers. You can help Parks and Recreation Commission clean out the mouth of the canal that runs through Fran Leaf Park and alongside the Willow Beach swim site. You can contact Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation to join and help clean up our community while enjoying the outdoors. This is a great way to get out and give back to your Keego Harbor community through making sure the canal is clean for the spring. Our last event we want to look at is the Sylvan Salon. This is their 5th salon. This is the 3rd part of their events covering the Holocaust. This is part 3 on April 5th. They are having a Sylvan Lake residence relating to their parents' Holocaust stories. The salon events are at the core, opportunities to explore a myriad of topics with friends and neighbors, new and old. This salon will take place at 6 p.m. for their social hour, and then presentations will go from 7 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. It is hosted by Sally Rogers Siegel and David Frankel, and they are having a returning guest, Mr. Leasing. This is the last time they will be presenting, so this will be a great way to learn about their Holocaust stories and talk about the Holocaust with your neighbors and friends. For all the information, you can contact Kelly Krause at 248-797-7630 for more information. All the proceeds will help fund the live music in Sylvan this summer, so it's a great way to get out with your Sylvan Lake neighbors and friends, learn about the Holocaust, have some conversation and a social hour, and give back to the Sylvan Lake Committee for the live music this summer to participate. If you have an event you'd like us to feature here on the Splash Live, you can send us a message on our social media pages at Civic Center TV and at Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Coming up, we'll be talking to a member of Detroit Archers of West Bloomfield, Kevin Marshall. But before that, for the past 4 years, the 4 community leaders in the Greater West Bloomfield have come together to address topics that are impacting our community. For the 4th annual State of the Communities Address, I got to ask local leaders from Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Keego Harbor, and West Bloomfield about the updates in their community over the past year. Let's go check out what the leaders had to say about the COVID-19 pandemic and how is it impacting their communities and where they're headed into 2022. For the 4th annual State of the Communities Address, the 4 community leaders from Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Keego Harbor, and West Bloomfield got together to talk about important issues that are impacting our communities. Let's find out what they had to say about the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, as any other community has been plagued by the coronavirus, it's now been 24 months, and it really is a game changer. It changed nearly everything we do, including our interactions with one another in the public. But fortunately, we, like many cities and townships, we instituted measures, Maddie, trying to keep everybody safe. And we're pleased to say of the 97 employees at Town Hall, only 17 contracted COVID and nobody was seriously ill. But as COVID is winding down, at least we think, the coronavirus, I think there are permanent changes. For example, we have our plexiglass at the windows where we meet the public. I think they're there to stay. I think people are much more vigilant and diligent, Maddie, about keeping clean, hand sanitizing, and social distancing.
Last year and the prior year, we had residents step up and organize events that brought us hope and solidarity through another difficult year. We saw things like a monthly glow roll, blood drives, Wednesday game and yoga night, and those are just some of the events that made last year memorable. Our Parks and Rec maintains an active schedule. They organized a Christmas tree lighting and a menorah lighting. They organized a haunted trail on the Clinton River Trail. Euchre tournament and chili cook-off that they've been doing for a long time, an adult field day, and we celebrated our 100th year since becoming a village, but we did become a city in 1947.
Well, when it first started, of course, we closed our city hall except by appointment, and that worked for a while, and then things started to open up, and so we did, in fact, have a mask mandate. We put up some plexiglass shields, and we were able to accommodate our people that needed to come in. So that worked out fine. Unfortunately, in recent months, COVID has really run through our staff and our police department. Fortunately, nobody was terribly sick, but some people got it twice, and it just was something we had to deal with, but we never stopped our ability to help our citizens when they needed our services.
We were greatly affected by the pandemic. Wearing of masks. We did City Hall by appointment only for quite a while. And even now, staffing is somewhat of a problem. We worked with Oakland County quite a bit to help our restaurants. And so I think our staff really did a fantastic job working their way through it. Our public safety department.
To check out more, you can head over to civiccentertv.com and watch the entire 4th annual State of the Communities address on our on-demand page. Reporting for the Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschin.
If you want to check out the entire State of the Communities address and hear more about topics such as COVID-19, infrastructure, and community programs that they have in their greater West Bloomfield community, you can head over to civiccentertv.com or go to our YouTube page at Civic Center TV to watch the entire 4th annual State of the Communities address. Later on, we'll be checking out a great local place to enjoy eats and drinks while enjoying the warmer weather here in our greater West Bloomfield area. But before that, we'll be talking to Kevin Marshall, member of Detroit Archers of West Bloomfield. All that and more after this short break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine. To keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. Joining us now is Kevin Marshall, member of Detroit Archers of West Bloomfield, to talk a little bit about what Detroit Archers is and some of the cool programs and leagues that they have there. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Maddie. Thank you for having me.
So, Kevin, could you start off by telling us a little bit about the background of Detroit Archers of West Bloomfield and the history behind the club here in our greater West Bloomfield area?
Well, Detroit Archers began formally in 1928 in the city of Detroit. I moved around for a while before they purchased the property on Drake Road, at least the first portion of it, in 1951. Moving then, buying the rest of the property that we have, 32 acres, in 1964, and building the clubhouse in 1971. And that's pretty much the way it's stayed ever since. We're moving up on our 100-year anniversary and are looking to celebrate that when the time comes.
And Kevin, for someone who is maybe unfamiliar with archery and Detroit Archers, could you tell us a little brief overview of what Detroit Archers of West Bloomfield is and give us some insight into some of the leagues and the programs that you guys have there?
Well, Detroit Archers is a club that's owned by its membership, and we host a lot of public events. In fact, all of our archery competitions and shoots and events and things are all open to the public. We have a number of different activities for the public. Starting on Saturday mornings in November, first Saturday in November, we have the Saturday Morning Archers, which is more of a lesson-based kind of drop-in sort of teaching for 2 hours with equipment. And that's lead instruction. And then for the more advanced shooter, we have the Junior Olympic Archery Development Program and the Adult Achievement Program that runs Thursday nights. It's now between sessions right now. It's moved to the outdoors here in May. And that's for people who are a little more advanced, have their own equipment and those kinds of things. And then we have leagues for members and guests that we're winding down the winter leagues. We have target leagues and what are called 3D leagues, where you shoot at foam animals at varying distances and angles and kind of a competition. It's all based on your average score, and you get points, and then there's prizes awarded and those kinds of things at the end. This summer, we're planning on hosting a couple of, we're still working on the details, some Women in the Outdoors programs hosted by a member named Nick DeCreasy, who works with the DNR on hosting these kind of programs, and we're going to hopefully kick those off in July.
And Kevin, I understand that the Detroit Archers of West Bloomfield is very active in our community. Specifically, I know that you have some programs that you do with the Jewish Community Center. Can you talk a little bit about that and some of the ways that you guys get involved in the community?
Well, we have for years and years and years, longer than I've been a member, which is about 15 years, we have hosted usually three 1 week long camps for the JCC. Since COVID, they've scaled back a little bit, and we're going to do one 1 week camp this summer, and then we're supposed to have 3 single-day camps coming up. We also host usually several times a year with the West Bloomfield Parks and Recs, some shooting and some lessons here at the clubhouse on Drake Road. And then we have just the various other events. We starting in this weekend, I believe. We will host at least one outdoor 3D shoot through September, every once a month. So that's where our biggest involvement with the community comes from.
And Kevin, you have a pretty cool piece of property here in West Bloomfield. Can you talk about specifically where Detroit Archers of West Bloomfield is located and a little bit about the great property that you have here?
Yeah, we are located at, I'm blanking on the address, I think 5795 Drake Road, just south of Walnut Lake Road. We're on the east side of the road, across from the senior living apartments that are on the west side. And we have 32 acres of mostly woodland, with some areas cleared out for our 2 different outdoor ranges, and then we have a 20-yard indoor range and clubhouse. And we shoot a variety of distances and different kind of field conditions around on the property. And we're home to many deer and turkeys and all sorts of wildlife that we're hopefully be ushering a new crop of fawns here in a few weeks here that always pop up in late May, early June.
Kevin, for those people who are looking to get involved with Detroit Archers, become members of the club, but maybe have no experience with archery, could you give some advice for our viewers who are maybe looking to try out archery and get involved with Detroit Archers of West Bloomfield?
By all means, yeah. Archery is a wonderful sport. It's one of these sports that you don't have to be the biggest, strongest, fastest in order to compete. It's all about control and mind over your body and kind of focusing on what you're doing. And we have open shooting currently on Saturday and Sunday afternoons from 1 to 5, that they can come in, and there's equipment available to use, and you get a little bit of lessons, a little bit of teaching involved from the volunteers that are working that, and then just come and give it a try. It's a great way to spend a few hours of time.
Kevin, as we wrap up here, is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers about Detroit Archers of West Bloomfield?
Well, I think we're proud to be members of the West Bloomfield community. We've been here. This is the longest place we've ever stayed as a club, and we're not looking to go anywhere anytime soon. So we thank everybody in West Bloomfield for the support we've had over the years.
Well, Kevin, it was a pleasure having you on the Splash Live this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, I was joined by member of Detroit Archers of West Bloomfield, Kevin Marshall, talking about their club and some of the great leagues and programs that they have there. I got to stop by a staple here in the greater West Bloomfield area that is bringing the feeling of community and house-made beer and food to the area. CJs Brewing Company, located off of Richardson Road, is the perfect place to gather with friends, and I got to talk to the Assistant General Manager, Tyson Forrester, about why you should make CJs your go-to restaurant.
Calling all beer fanatics and lovers of local restaurants, CJs Brewing Company has all the beer and homemade food you could dream of right here in Greater West Bloomfield. We visited CJ's and talked to Assistant General Manager Tyson Forrester about their history and the food and beer they serve.
Well, as far as CJ's is concerned, we were started back in 1997. For probably a majority of the early 2000s, we were number 5 in the state for beer production, which is saying a lot how small our brewery is. We actually have a brew pub license, which allows us to keep a full liquor bar, as well as our brewing process. So we do a lot of fun stuff. Our top 5 is our normal Golden Lager American Wheat VAT 33 IPA, Lower Straight Stout, and our Rich Hag Red that we have. We always have at least 14 to 16 taps, and everything is made in-house. We do have a few domestics that, believe it or not, we end up having to throw some of them away because they fall past the date because our beer is so good. What I will say about our beer is it is true to the type of beer, like our Lower Straight Stout. It doesn't have a lot of big, I call them foo-foo flavors for me. You know, my husband likes Neapolitan Stout from Saugatuck Brewing Company. I love our Lower Straight Stout because it is a stout and it's not thick. So you can have more than one and not feel full. We have a scratch kitchen, so everything down to the sauces, down to the doughs is made in-house, which I think wrapping that around the fact that we have so much good beer works well for us.
We also asked Tyson how the COVID-19 pandemic impacted CJ's and the rest of their staff.
Throughout the pandemic, you know, we had a lot of people that were very nervous about what was going on in the real world, you know. Information came in spurts. One of the big things that I preached from day one was, you know, all of the rules and regulations that the health department has put us in, we already do that. So you don't have to learn anything new other than, you know, triple the amount of times that you might wipe a door handle. And that was our focus. You know, a lot of people were affected differently. They reacted differently. I know a lot of our fellow restaurants were really, really affected by the shutdown with what happened with COVID-19 and then, you know, the increased restrictions that the restaurant industry held.
Tyson also talked about his love for the greater West Bloomfield area as well as what the community means to them.
I always tell everybody we're far enough away but close enough to be there. You know, we don't have the hustle and bustle that you see if you're shooting down Woodward from Birmingham all the way to Detroit. There's pride, there's a sense of pride whenever you say, I live in West Bloomfield. I don't ever feel like ashamed or upset.
If you're looking for a place to eat that feels like a community, CJs Brewing Company in Greater West Bloomfield is the place for you. Reporting for the Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschin.
Welcome back to The Splash. I'm Maddie Muschin. We are now going to be joined by health. The cool ways in which you can get your body healthy, but we're going to take a quick break here and we'll be right back.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live. Joining us now to talk about health and wellness and how to keep our bodies healthy with some ways to feel your body before and after a workout is owner of Gazelle Health and personal trainer and nutrition coach, Gail Taub. Gail, thanks so much for joining us again this morning.
Good morning. Always glad to be here. Good start to my
Let's
Tuesday.
start off with talking a little bit about the relationship between food and working out. Sometimes people think that those two can't go together, but what is your advice for the best foods to eat before and after a workout to fuel your body?
So I think I'll start by saying, if you've been tuning in to this little segment every week, you're starting to see a theme more than likely, or notice a theme that I don't have specific direction that is global that I share with people that I don't know. So I will say the same thing in this case. It really depends on what you're looking for. Paying attention to what it is that you're trying to accomplish when you're working out, the kind of workout that you're doing, the level of intensity. It really is very, very individual. So that's my way of saying, pay attention to yourself first, and then maybe some of these tips will help you to figure out a next best step to help you improve the energy levels. So connection from food to workout, there's absolutely a connection. You need to have the energy to do whatever activity you are striving to do. And the higher the intensity level, the more food is important. So making sure that you're eating at some point before you work out is very important. Now, it depends on you and the time of workout. Say you're in the morning or maybe in the afternoon, in the evening. Look and see what you're doing now and look at yourself to figure out what it is that you'd like to improve. So if it's energy, if it's coming to the party with enough energy to get through that workout, regardless of time or day or what your goals are, you're going to want to make sure that you eat a well-balanced meal to start with about an hour or two before. Well-balanced means enough of the appropriate portion of 4 food groups that I teach at least, which is protein, carbs, fat, good fat, and vegetables.
So Gail, I know that there are some popular trends with pre-workout and some sports drinks. Can you talk a little bit about how those can either help or hurt when you have those before a workout?
Yeah, so do some research. If you're interested in taking a supplement of any kind, a not food related way of having that nutrition for the energy and the workout. Number one, figure out a good brand. And one of the things that you can do is look at the ingredient list and the nutrition label. Here's a couple of tips that might help you, again, depending on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Number one, remember that Breyer's ice cream commercial that was aired many years back, and it was highlighting the fact that they use all real ingredients and that there weren't any issues pronouncing or chemical. There were eggs and there's cream and there's berries in their strawberry ice cream. That's the same concept that you want to look at when you look at supplements. Look at the ingredient list. If there is a lot of ingredients that you can't even pronounce, there's a lot of chemicals, you might want to continue looking for something that has a little bit shorter list, a little bit more of the obvious non-sugar kind of ingredients. That will reflect in the nutrition label as well. So what you want to look for there is a high level of protein, a lower level of carb, and although it can have some carb in it, as long as the nutrition is based off of good, healthy ingredients and not corn syrup, and then lower in fat as well. And that might be a nice place for you to start.
Gail, as we wrap up, we have about a minute left with you. Is there anything else that you wanted to share about feeling your body before a workout, or how someone can contact you if they're interested in your personal training and your nutrition coaching?
Sure. There's one other tip that I'll share. If you're looking for energy, quick energy, natural quick energy before a workout, and you want to start somewhere and give it a try, a small piece of fruit about 20 to 30 minutes before that workout will give you some nice natural energy that you can see if it helps, and at least start there. That's a nice, simple way to start. In order to get in contact with me to ask me questions, a consultation, just discuss what it is that you're trying to accomplish, you can reach me in a couple of different ways. I have a website. It's CoachGayle.com. Gayle is spelled Gayle. That's CoachGayle.com. Also, you can text or call me anytime, 248-885-1400. You can also find me on Instagram, Gazelle Health with 2 H's at the end. And I think that I'd love to chat with you. Uh-oh, I can't hear you, Maddie. So I think something happened to our connection. Oh, there you are.
Thank you for joining us again, Gail. We appreciate you having us on.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone.
That's going to do it for today's Splash Live. Thank you again to Kevin Marshall and to Gail Taub for joining us this morning. As always, a big thank you to our crew, Jared Clark, our Zoom producer, and Calvin Brown, our board operator, for making the show possible each and every morning. You can tune in live every weekday at 9:30 a.m. on Civic Center TV on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99 to see what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community, as well as hear from all those great people and events that are happening in Greater West Bloomfield. You can also check our YouTube page at Civic Center TV to check all of our featured content there. For all of our friends in Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Kego Harbor, and West Bloomfield, I'm Maddie Muschin. Thank you for watching The Splash Live.